Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker wants to spend $40 million in taxpayer funds over 4 years in an effort he says will eliminate the medical debt for certain Illinoisans and the total amounts that could be liquidated, $4 billion. He claims. Welcome back. It's Bishop on Air. I'm Greg Bishop. Thanks for hanging out. Of course, full-time, I'm over at the Illinois State House with legislators coming in and tracking state governments. Follow the Center Square. You can find not just stories from Illinois' State House. You can find stories from Missouri's State House, from Iowa's State House, from California and New York and Washington State and Philadelphia. It's all over the place. Go to thecentersquare.com and find your state. But a lot of you living in Illinois, and you can go to thecentersquare.com/Illinois and read up what's going on. Lots happening. So back in February, Governor J.B. Pritzker, he delivered his State of the State and budget address, combined speech where he talked about his priorities, his goals, and what he wants to make happen in the budget. One thing covering state government for almost 10 straight years now. You always hear that the budget is a moral document. It's a document that legislators spell out their priorities. It's a document that the governor spells out his priorities. And it's, something that is very important. It's your tax dollars at work. How are your tax dollars going to be prioritized? And over the past 7 years or so, I've seen the budget increase quite a bit. I remember when the budget was $38 billion and people are like, wow, that's a lot of money. And then it was $42 billion, and then it was $45 billion, and then it was close to 50. Now the governor's proposing to spend $53 billion. And a lot of that spending going to pensions, a lot of that spending going to K through 12 schools, a lot of that spending going towards employing state agencies and so on. Then you've got the spending for roads and infrastructure and public safety. But also, you've got the spending that's for the non-citizen migrants. And that's another issue that we're going to hear a lot more about this week, especially with the city of Chicago looking to approve $70 million more of city taxpayer funds. And that would be on top of $70 million from Cook County taxpayer funds, on top of, I think it's $182 or $183 million that Governor J.B. Pritzker is proposing for the next fiscal year for direct assistance to migrants. That doesn't count the $600 and some odd million for non-citizen health care that taxpayers subsidize. So you've got all those costs in this budget. But another thing that the governor wants to do is he wants to take $40 million over 4 years, so $10 million a year. And he wants to hook up with a company that is a nonprofit, a national nonprofit that aims at helping people get rid of their medical debts. Here is the governor talking a bit about his proposal to use taxpayer funds to alleviate medical debt.
As many of you know, healthcare debt is a uniquely American issue. We want the best and safest options. We want a fair shot at a healthy life. But after the care ends for that circumstance, many walk away with unexpected pain. Not only the emotional and physical toll of the crisis that they've been through, but a serious financial toll, too. Too many patients leave hospitals with their credit ruined or at risk of bankruptcy in the ensuing months, often through no fault of their own. And here in Illinois, 14% of our population has medical debt in default. On top of that, we see significant racial disparities, with nearly 20% of communities of color in Illinois experiencing extreme medical debt. It's preventing individuals and families from attaining financial stability, and research shows it's also having day-to-day impacts for all the affected individuals, like emotional distress and difficulty meeting basic needs.
So the governor talks about studies that have been done, saying that the studies have shown that this can alleviate a variety of things from, people's mental health issues. However, when you look at a study that was published this week, this month from the National Bureau of Economic Research. Let's go ahead and pull that up, where you've got the Bureau talking about what they did here. And the abstract is kind of like an overview, right? It says 2 in 5 Americans have medical debt, nearly half of whom owe at least $2,500. Concerned by the burden, governments and private donors have undertaken large, high-profile efforts to relieve medical debt. We partnered with RIP Medical Debt, which is actually, that's the company that Governor J.B. Pritzker wants to hook up with here. They've changed their name. It's no longer RIP Medical Debt. It is now, I'm trying to see if I can find the name here really quick. Undue Medical Debt. So formerly RIP Medical Debt, and now they're calling themselves Undue Medical Debt. So regardless, back to this study from the National Bureau of Economic Research. They spell out in their abstract that we partnered with RIP Medical Debt to conduct 2 randomized experiments that relieved medical debt with a face value of $169 million for 83,000 people between 2018 and 2020. We track outcomes using credit reports, collections account data, and a multimodal survey. There are 3 sets of results. First, we find no impact of debt relief on credit access, utilization, and financial distress on average. So they find no impact on debt relief when it comes to credit access, utilization, and financial distress. Second, they do estimate that the debt relief causes a moderate but statistically significant reduction in payment of existing medical debt. And then third, we find no effect of medical debt relief on mental health on average, with determinal effects for some groups in pre-registered analysis. So you've got again a study here saying that there's, on average, not really much relief when it comes to credit access, utilization, and financial distress, and no effect on mental health on average. Governor J.B. Pritzker asked about that study yesterday when he was talking about this particular proposal he has to eliminate medical debt using taxpayer funds.
First of all, that study was done, as you know, in 2018, 2019, 2020, and a lot has changed. As I mentioned earlier in my remarks, the organization Undue Medical Debt has done a lot to change their program. They started out as a startup back in 2014 and got going really more significantly in 2016. And then as the pandemic hit, there was even more opportunity and different ways in which you could alleviate medical debt for people. And so now here we are in 2024. The program has evolved even more. So I think the results of that are not indicative of, for example, the results of the research that's been done since then.
So the governor seeming to downplay this research, saying it's old data. But it's data from 2018 and 2020. I connected with State Representative Dan Caulkins, a Republican from Decatur, and got his reaction to this, and also the study that seems to contradict what the governor hopes the goal would produce of relieving and liquidating medical debts.
This is another one of these issues, just like student debt, that we're going to forgive. I understand, that it is difficult to have medical debt, but $10 million into this program doesn't begin to touch, where we are, and it's not really going to help people's credit. So, our priorities, we need to look at our priorities. We have $50 billion. We don't know how it's going to get spent. But every agency that's come before us has asked for a 10, 12% increase in their budget. I don't see where it comes from. It's going to be very interesting this year how we actually balance this budget. And I don't think this is going to go anywhere.
So again, Caulkins saying that all he's seen from state agencies is increased asks for more money. And it's going to be interesting to see how they squeeze out $10 million for this program. You've also got the increased costs from a new state agency the governor's talking about, $13 million. And that's for an agency that's going to take early childhood programs and put them into one. But regardless, new programs. We keep hearing about new programs for spending tax dollars. But again, the study here from the National, what's the group called? The National Bureau of Economic Research, again, spelling out that they estimate no impact on debt relief on credit access, utilization, and financial distress, and no effect on medical debt relief on mental health on average. Caulkins reacting to that as well.
The research is factual. The governor is trying to pander. I know he's still interested in a political career outside of Illinois, and this is just another one of those Democrat talking points. We'll forgive everybody's debt if you vote for me. It's not going to work. This isn't the right answer. And you're correct. It does not solve your credit problems, nor does it really address the mental health issues that we have.
So, again, interesting to kind of hear the back and forth here. We've still got a month and a half or so before the legislature has to approve a budget. Will this particular element make it into the budget? That's a great question, and if you stay tuned with Bishop on Air, we'll definitely revisit that. So like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. Appreciate you guys being here and sounding off. The chat room is lively, guys. My gosh. All right, be kind. All right, that's all I ask for. It's just be kind. All right, have yourselves a wonderful rest of the day. Be sure to like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. Follow me on X. Just search Bishop on Air. You can also find all the work that my team and I put together at thecentersquare.com/Illinois. So make it happen, all right?